Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. Batman's rogues gallery is simply unmatched in DC or any other comic universe. From Joker's insanity to Mr. Freeze's tragic villainous background, the 2004 version of the Batman series has gotten the best of the wicked arch-enemies of the Caped Crusader. The series features supervillains who are really capable of pushing the limits of Batman and putting up a worthy fight. As new cops and detectives of GCPD are introduced throughout the series, we'll explore the top 10 iconic villains who really snatch humanity off of Bruce Wayne. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
It can be cracked, it can be made, it can be told, it can be played. What is it?
Riddler. Edward Nygma is one of the Batman villains who's not just any other ordinary criminal. With a brilliant mind and obsession for riddles and puzzles, you can only imagine how he enjoys the challenges in the field of crime. His traps usually revolve around punishments if the presented riddles are not solved or answered correctly. His tools and traps are usually seen to have the question mark that's an obvious reference to riddles. He carries a golden wand that has a question mark at the end, and no, it isn't just a symbol. It has a button that can work as a remote to open or close trapped food, rockets, and even a crane. It also holds the ability to blast bombs or release sleeping gas to weaken the opponent. This mastermind of a villain has made dramatic appearances in the Batman animated series, and his past was thoroughly explored. In Season 4, Episode 9, Batman saves Chuck Gorman, who was kidnapped by the Riddler and his thugs because he believes Gorman to be his nemesis. In the fight between Batman and the Riddler, Gorman manages to escape in a floating boat while stealing the golden wand. Not just this, he also presses the button that causes massive explosions. To save their lives, Batman and his foe go into a sealed container, which eventually falls into the sea and, thus, trapping them underwater. From here, the secret of Riddler's origin begins to unravel. Riddler was emotionally abused by his father during his childhood, which caused utter trauma, and thus reflected in his personality. He started to find satisfaction in challenges such as breaking into lockers and high-tech safes that held money or diamonds. But his genius mind also worked on a chip that can drastically improve brain power and expand memory. This chip holds the ability to read a whole book in a minute or so, and the wearer can remember every damn word. This project was in a collaboration with Gorman and Julie. Julie was the potential love interest that he liked, but on the other hand, his hatred toward Gorman couldn't be contained. During the presentation, the chip failed miserably due to technical faults, and Riddler believed that Chuck had sabotaged his invention to get credit for it, as well as make more money off of it. Batman hints to the wicked genius that it's not Gorman but Julie who may have sabotaged his invention. In the end, they both break free from the container, only for the Riddler to knock Batman out. Thankfully, Robin saves our Dark Knight, and they both make quite an entrance at the abduction place where Riddler and his henchmen keep Julie captive. Our vengeance hero obviously wins the fight, but instructs Robin not to break Julie free as he, too, realizes that she's also in the wrong. Batman fans are aware of this brilliant villain who's not just obsessed with puzzles and riddles, but also with clever traps, such as ticking bombs or life-threatening mazes. In the episode named Riddled, his traps were all over Gotham City, which was eventually solved by Batman and GCPD detective Ellen Yin. Riddler also battled against Penguin and Joker in the episode named Night and the City. Here, Riddler throws shade on Joker with one of his infamous quotes that go, "I do riddles, I don't tell jokes." And with that, let's move on to our next notorious Bat villain.
Fool's gold! Do it through, Joker! Detective.
Joker. Joker has to be the most famous supervillain and ultimate foe of Batman. Initially created by Bill Finger, Jerry Robinson, and Bob Kane, the character was first published by DC Comics, and there's been no looking back since then. It gained massive popularity and appeared in many comic books, TV series, movies, and even got its own solo films. In the Batman 2004, Joker made many appearances where he drove Batman and Gotham completely batshit paranoid. The character, however, is slightly different in the series. With his classic red lips and eyes, along with signature green hair and a big scarred smile, Joker wanted to put a smile on every face of Gotham. In his initial days, he only wanted to make people laugh, but was always bullied or forgotten about. Joker's parents were not attentive towards him, which also played a part in his developing personality. He fell into a chemical waste tank that's responsible for his insanity and severely bleached skin. It tampered with his mental stability, and he developed a mental illness. In the episode named The Bat in the Belfry, Joker escaped from the mega prison, Arkham. His costume consists of a brown jacket with an oversized purple sleeve. He also puts on fingerless gloves along with blue pants and no shoes. Despite his ridiculous choice of costume, he doesn't hesitate to make fun of Batman's suit. He questioned which grown-up dresses as a bat, and it was simply hilarious. His fighting style is also quite different. Joker's movements are more jumpy, like a monkey, and he's seen hanging by a pole, holding it with his feet, almost in an ape style. His ultimate plan was to release Joker gas on a hot air balloon that would kill the citizens of Gotham. As Batman chases him down, Joker's traps soon begin to unfold. Meanwhile, Detective Yin and Ethan Bennett team up to hunt down Batman. One of Joker's traps, Jack in the Box, explodes in the entrance of Arkham that causes severe damage and throwing the city police off guard. It's notable how he only finds Batman to be his worthy opponent. Joker's typical hideout place is Monarch Theatre, where he's confronted by Batman and the fight goes up to the air balloon, which is eventually destroyed by the Dark Knight. Joker gas is released on the water, though it doesn't really harm anyone. Joker gets sent back to Arkham Asylum, but it's only a matter of time till his insanity is on the loose. But this time, Joker played differently. In the episode named Topsy Turvy, Joker's mission is to card 52 people and kill them later. Oh yes, some of you might be confused here. He plans on trapping his victims in gigantic life-size boxes that are cards in appearance. Why 52 specifically, you ask? Because that many cards are usually there in a pack of cards. Suspicion starts to occur when Batman recalls him being in Arkham Asylum. So, how can he even be in two places at once? It doesn't take the Dark Knight too long to discover that the Joker, who's on the loose on the streets of Gotham, is actually an imposter. The real Joker in Arkham is soon confronted by Batman, and he manages to overpower him. Joker's ultimate plan soon comes to light and sends chills down the spine. He planned to fling his victims to the Gotham River so they drown and die. Batman ultimately rescues them all, and the insanity of this madman is finally put on hold. Joker made an appearance in many other episodes, including Night in the City, where he battled against Penguin and Riddler to defeat Batman and be the ultimate ruler of Gotham City. In another episode named The Laughing Bat, Joker actually went to the extent of dressing up as the Dark Knight and punishing the street criminals or the ones who barely did anything wrong. The Caped Crusader was obviously unhappy with this move, but Joker's attacks didn't seem to stop. He even injected Batman with Joker venom, which puts Batman's life on a ticking clock of 24 hours till he passes away of laughter. His madness continues through many episodes, like when he abducted Detective Ellen Yin in Strange Minds. To find her, Batman uses Hugo Strange's invention that allows the wearer to dwell in the mind of the victim. The tale of insanity and adventure continues with the character, and they're all extremely well portrayed in the series.
Mind if I help myself? I didn't think so.
Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is one of the DC supervillains that was created by Sheldon Moldoff, Dave Wood, and Bob Kane, and first appeared as Mr. Zero in Batman number 121. In the 90s version of Batman the Animated Series, this ice-based criminal was given an origin story that was written by Paul Dini. The episode, in fact, won an Emmy for its unique writing and storyline. In a confrontation between Mr. Freeze and Batman, Gotham's mighty ruler actually discovered Freeze's tragic origin story in the security room. This revealed that originally known by Dr. Victor Freeze, he only wanted to save his wife Nora, who was on her deathbed. Initially, he was known to be stealing parts from his workplace, GothCorp, to build a freezing machine and compete against the big shot company. However, the truth turned out to be so tragic that even Batman sympathized with him. He wanted to run an experiment that would cryogenically freeze Nora till a cure for her was found. His plans were in vain when Ferris Boyle, the CEO of GothCorp, intervened with security and left Dr. Freeze to die in several lethal chemicals. He didn't die, but mutated into the iconic Bat-villain, Mr. Freeze. This incident resulted in a drastic change in his body temperature, and thus he needs the cryogenic suit for survival. Mr. Freeze has made many appearances in Batman 2004, but it's quite the downgrade compared to the 90s version. Now, let's talk about the 2004 version. In the episode named The Big Chill, Mr. Freeze was seen attacking people of Gotham City, freezing them, and also stealing pieces of jewelry and diamonds. He always had an eye for robbing diamonds and holds Batman responsible for his transformation. In his early robber days, Batman chased him while he was fleeing with stolen diamonds, and the car chase ended with Freeze's car crashing into a lab, which led him to the cryogenics lab. Trying to save his diamonds and himself from Batman, he ended up in one of the chemical-filled cubicles. He got electrocuted, and all of his blood cells were frozen and thus turning into Mr. Freeze. In this episode, Batman's suit is freeze-proof by Alfred, and the Caped Crusader is finally able to fight off the menace. In the episode Fire and Ice, Gotham's constant snowfall and freezing cold is the first thing we come across, and it doesn't take a detective to figure out who might be behind this. Mr. Freeze alone might be too easy for Batman to fight off, so he made allies with Firefly with the ultimate mission to keep Gotham forever in freezing cold winter weather. Firefly holds the ability to shoot explosives and even has a flamethrower attached to his winged suit. He can fly and attack with fire and flames, just as his name suggests. A question soon starts to arise about the possible things that Firefly and Freeze are building together. While Batman attends the police gala where all the officers get together, both the villains have made plans of their own. To reach their ultimate goal, the Menace allies hack down the vents that heat up the houses of Gotham. With the help of liquid nitrogen and cryo-accelerator, Mr. Freeze's powers would increase by 10 times. They fire the cryo-accelerator, and freezing cold soon spreads all over Gotham. It affects the gala first, where it freezes the attendees. Batman soon escapes and engages in a fight-off with Mr. Freeze and Firefly. Freeze's attacks seem to have been improvised, but after some kicks and punches, Batman finally turns the heat vents on that damages Mr. Freeze's helmet, thus getting defeated. The character has made an appearance in many other episodes, including Icy Depths, where we even meet the Bat-villain Penguin, along with Alfred's school friend Ewan Fripp, who hasn't shown his face in the last 36 years. As they go on a treasure hunt to get the sunken treasure of Gotham, the diamond-obsessed Mr. Freeze battle against Penguin and Fripp whilst also trying to flee from Batman. After an ultimate battle against the three, they end up rescuing one another from the collapsing walls and lose the treasures. He made appearances in other episodes, such as Artifact and Rumors, as well as Batman-Superman Story Part 1. With frosting abilities, cold-themed powers, and one of the saddest origin stories, Mr. Freeze surely deserves to be cured and treated. He's known to be the tragic Batman villain who shows no signs of mercy when it comes to vengeance.
Working late?
The night shift? Like you, Batman.
Firefly. Originally known as Garfield Lynns, Firefly holds exceptional knowledge of pyrotechnic and explosives, and therefore his armor is fully equipped with several flammable devices, flamethrowers, and a jetpack that allows him to attack with fire, and also flies with super high speed. Created by Franz Heron and Dick Sprang, the character turned out to be one of the most recurring and powerful foes of vengeance. Batman himself was impressed with his laser technology when the two encountered face-to-face in the episode The Big Heat. Batman also faces the dilemma as the Gotham mayor warns him that the city council is lenient towards handing over Thomas Wayne's charity to GothCorps instead. On the other hand, when the fire-throwing villain gets into a fight with Batman, he manages to overpower him. Perhaps the Caped Crusader's emotional instability also played as an advantage to the Firefly's strategic attacks. When the charity work is handed to GothCorps, Batman soon figures out who's sabotaging the corporate companies to favor the evil GothCorps. Yep, it's no other than the Firefly himself. Furious Dark Knight confronts Firefly to take him down, but Firefly's ability and powers are more advanced while flying in the sky. After a heart-racing chase and mind-blowing attacks from both ends, Batman obviously gains the upper hand and manages to bring him down to a rooftop, where he lays his final blow, severely injuring the Firefly. In the end, Firefly was seen to be tied and hanging upside down with a banner that hilarious indicates him to be GothCorps Employee of the Month. And lastly, for the curious cats, yep, Thomas's charity was given to Wayne Industries in the end. Firefly's attacks are versatile as he's brutal with his fire lasers in the long range. It was again seen on Fire and Ice, where he teamed up with Mr. Freeze to take his revenge on Batman. He engaged in several combats against Batman when he exposed their wicked plan to put Gotham City under a freezing cold winter that never leaves. However, the character's inability to defend himself can be a huge drawback on the battlefield. Though Firefly is strongest while flying, his deck landings are also smooth and are one of his strongest assets. The best part of his high-tech suit is the incendiary types of equipment that it carries. Devices such as napalm, smoke bombs, grenades, and even small fire blades come in handy while fighting the ultimate protector of Gotham. Firefly's powers are enhanced and go out of control in the episode named The White Heat. He steals an isotope with his love interest Jane Blaisdell from Gotham University. This isotope can enhance his powers and make the jetpack stronger. However, Firefly ends up applying too much heat on it, which results in an explosion. He soon discovers that there's an orange glow around him and that his new powers include generating fire. To prevent him from doing any other damage, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl try their best to investigate and stop the menace. However, when Batman tries to freeze him, his new powers start to rise, modifying his body with a red-orange aura and lines. He soon breaks free of the ice and identifies as the Phosphorus. Anything the Phosphorus touches burns to ashes, and he holds the ability to blast fire. Batman's multiple attempts to captivate him go in vain, as anything that comes in touch with him turns to ashes. Batman's new radioactive suit allows him to get close to Phosphorus, but his attacks are damaging. However, some liquid nitrogen does the trick in the end, and the Dark Knight manages to defeat him. After careful examination by medical professionals, it's declared that damages done to phosphorus are permanent and there's no coming back from there. His love interest also decides to call quits on them, and he remains in Arkham.
We can make this hard or easy, but I am walking out that door.
Black Mask. Black Mask is a complex and multifaceted character in the Batman series. Introduced in Batman number 386, his personality and motives are well explored in the comics, which led to his appearance in the 2004 Batman series. He's a villain who's driven by his desire for power, wealth, and control, and he's willing to go to great lengths to achieve these goals. One of the key characteristics of Black Mask is his ruthless and sadistic nature. He's a cruel and violent individual who takes pleasure in causing pain and suffering to others, and he has no qualms about using torture and intimidation to get what he wants. This sadistic streak is particularly evident in his treatment of his own underlings, whom he often punishes severely for even minor mistakes or failures. Another key aspect of Black Mask's character is his obsession with masks. He wears a black mask as a symbol of his power and role as a crime boss, and he has a particular fascination with masks and their role in hiding and disguising one's identity. He established the criminal gang False Face, whose members wear different masks and depicts their position and how Black Mask favors them. This fascination is tied to his own identity and his desire to escape from his past and his true self. Despite his violent and ruthless nature, Black Mask is also a highly intelligent and resourceful individual. He's a skilled strategist and tactician, and he's able to use his wealth and connections to great effect in his criminal endeavors. He's also a formidable opponent for Batman, using his gadgets, weapons, and cunning to try to outsmart and defeat the Dark Knight. In the comics, Black Mask is the alias of Roman Sionis, a wealthy and powerful businessman who becomes a criminal mastermind. Sionis inherited his wealth and company, Janus Cosmetics, from his parents, but he squandered it through his reckless and selfish actions. After his company goes bankrupt, Sionis turns to a life of crime, using his resources and connections to become a powerful crime lord in Gotham City. Black Mask is known for his signature Black Mask, which he wears to hide his identity and symbolize his role as a crime boss. The reason Sionis hates Bruce Wayne is that when Janus Cosmetics released the toxic makeup line that disfigured several hundreds of women, Wayne proposed that he could save the cosmetics company only if Sionis resigned and handed it over to Wayne Enterprises. This allowed Wayne to appoint his own board of directors and operate the company better. Black Mask felt that he was wronged by the multi-billionaire and swore to take revenge someday. There have been a few appearances in the 2004 Batman series where his thinking and psyche are shown. In the episode The Breakout, he plans to go to jail in order to capture Batman. It's revealed here that his mask can't be taken off and that he has no fingerprints or any distinguishable features that set him different from everyone. This shows how far he's willing to go to see the results of his whimsical revenge that was brought upon him by none other than himself. Black Mask has become a popular and enduring villain in the Batman series, and he's appeared in various adaptations of the comics in different media, such as movies, television shows, and video games. Clayface. Clayface is a supervillain who's known for his ability to transform his body into any shape or form, as well as his use of this ability to commit crimes and fight against Batman and other heroes. One of the key characteristics of Clayface is his ability to transform his body. This ability is both a curse and a blessing for the character, as it gives him immense power and versatility, but also causes him to struggle with his own identity and morality. Clayface's shape-shifting powers often lead him to use disguise and deception to further his own goals, and he's known for impersonating other people in order to commit crimes or gain an advantage. Another key aspect of Clayface's character is his troubled and desperate nature. In many versions of the character, Clayface is portrayed as a desperate and troubled individual who gains his powers through scientific means and uses them for criminal purposes. This desperation and turmoil are often depicted as being a result of the character's own personal issues and flaws, such as a desire for fame, a need for revenge, or a struggle with identity. The origin story of Clayface has varied across different versions of the character in the Batman comic book series. The original Clayface, Basil Karlo, was a failed actor who became obsessed with a film that was being remade without his involvement. In his anger and desperation, Karlo discovered a clay-based formula that granted him the ability to transform his body into any shape or form. He used this ability to transform himself into a monstrous, clay-like being and began a crime spree, taking on the alias of Clayface. Other versions of Clayface have had different origin stories. Matt Hagen, a scientist, gained his powers through exposure to a radioactive substance that gave him the ability to transform his body into clay. Preston Payne, another scientist, used a mutagenic virus to transform himself into a clay-like being and became Clayface. In all of these origin stories, Clayface is portrayed as a desperate and troubled individual who gains his powers through scientific means and uses them for criminal purposes. His abilities as Clayface are often depicted as being a curse, causing him to struggle with his own identity and morality. But the Clayface we're going to talk about is shown in the episode Clayface of Tragedy. Ethan Bennett was a good friend of Bruce Wayne and worked alongside Ellen Yin, who was an officer in Gotham City Police Department. While being psychologically tortured by the Joker, he was made to inhale the remnant Joker putty, which turned him into a clay-like being that has the ability to shapeshift. Due to being brainwashed, he planned to take revenge on everyone, which led to this fate he faced, starting with his department head, Chief Rojas. Yin and Batman pleaded with him multiple times, but to no avail. Ethan showed no remorse and just wanted to end his misery and his current state. After numerous pleas from Yin, Clayface resigned from his plan of vengeance and promised not to kill anyone. He then slithered off into the sewers, and that was the first time that Yin saw Batman as a hero who saved lives, rather than him being some random vigilante in a costume. Despite his powers and cunning, Clayface is ultimately no match for Batman and other heroes, who are more formidable and resourceful opponents. His role as a villain in the Batman series, as well as his unique ability to transform his body, make him a memorable and iconic character in the series.
Thing about rumors, they're often true.
Rumor. What happens when a seemingly harmless man is made to doubt his worth to his employer after an accident and starts locking criminals up because he wants to eradicate the source of his master's misery? Supervillains such as Rumor are born. The episode named Rumors explores his story arc well. Mario being his real name, his main occupation was being the bodyguard of Paul Charon, a genius intellect and inventor. During one of his device's demonstrations, a device that could destroy a building by shooting low sound vibrations at it, Charon was attacked by the Joker. The reason was simple. Joker wanted the device for himself so that he could wreak more unhinged havoc in the city. During their battle, Charon was severely injured, leaving him paralyzed for life. Mario felt extremely guilty that his inability to protect his employee damaged his body beyond repair, and nothing could be done about it now. He swore to kill all the supervillains in Gotham City, which is something that Batman could never do. He donned the suit and technology that was in Charon's office and started rounding up all the criminals in the city. He arrested quite the famous criminals such as Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, Black Mask, and even the big guy Bane, along with others. All these criminals were not taken to the authorities but just locked up somewhere that was not under official police custody or Arkham. He captures Killer Croc by beating him and his henchmen up while staying invisible in the sewers. During an encounter where Rumor kidnaps Penguin and Catwoman, Batman gets hold of a piece of his suit, and the design is traced back to Paul Charon as the creator. When all the criminals went missing, Batman suspected Charon and went to his place to pay a visit. But after having a long talk, they both realize that it's Mario who is about to go on a killing spree. Elsewhere, Mario is beating up Joker's henchmen and capturing the villain and plans to kill all of them with a more considerable version of the machine that led to all this chaos. Batman and Robin reach the location where the fight is happening and tell Rumor that he's gone too far with his revenge. Eventually, he was defeated, but not without all the supervillains cutting loose during the scuffle. Most of them were recaptured along with Rumor, who stated that he was innocent and platonically declared his love for Paul, saying that whatever he did, it was for his boss. The only criminals who managed to escape were Catwoman and Hugo Strange. Rumor is a darker reflection of Batman in the sense that he represents the negative aspects of the Dark Knight's character and actions. Like Batman, Rumor is a skilled strategist and tactician who uses advanced gadgets and technology to fight crime and defeat his enemies. However, unlike Batman, Rumor is motivated by selfish and corrupt desires, and he's willing to use lies and manipulation to achieve his goals. Rumor is what Batman would have been if the superhero didn't have any upright attitude about the law and just focused on eradicating the criminals rather than the circumstances that led to it. Rumor's reliance on rumors and lies as a primary weapon, as well as his use of technology and gadgets, can be seen as a darker reflection of Batman's own reliance on these same tools to fight crime. However, while Batman uses these tools for the greater good and to protect the innocent, Rumor uses them for his own gain and to further his own corrupt agenda. In this way, Rumor can be seen as a twisted version of Batman, representing the negative consequences of the Dark Knight's actions and the potential for corruption and abuse of power. This makes Rumor a complex and interesting character in the Batman series, and his role as a darker reflection of Batman adds an additional layer of depth and meaning to his character.
You like playing with toys, Crank? Try mine.
Toymaker. The Toymaker is a moniker for Cosmo Crank, an inventor and toy maker that established himself in Gotham City and made Crank Co., a company that makes children's toys. He's depicted as a criminal mastermind who specializes in creating and using advanced gadgets and weapons in his crimes. In the series, the Toymaker is often depicted as a brilliant inventor and engineer who uses his skills to create complex and deadly toys and devices. He has a particular affinity for creating gadgets and weapons that are based on traditional children's toys, such as dolls, helicopters, throwing discs, and animal-shaped robots. The Toymaker is a formidable opponent for Batman, using his gadgets and weapons to try to outsmart and defeat the Dark Knight. He's also known for his clever and devious tactics, often using his toys as distractions or decoys to throw Batman off his game. Despite his skills and intelligence, the Toymaker has often been defeated by Batman, who's proven to be a more resourceful opponent. He's appeared in just one episode named Cash for Toys. Crank was a genius inventor, but all of his toys malfunctioned in some way and put the child's life in danger. One of his toys, the Cosmo Flyer, was capable of levitating to extreme heights with a person sitting on it, and this led to many children stranding off into dangerous locations and situations. Seeing all these reports of mishaps, Bruce Wayne led a campaign that protested against the production of such dangerous toys and demanded that Crank Co. should be shut down. Protest was successful, and Crank Co. was taken down. Instead of rectifying his mistakes and making safer toys, Cosmo swore to take revenge on Wayne and named himself the Toymaker. He sent some Crankbots, which are handheld toys that can fire missiles from their arms and had a screen on their chest that can generate the image of the speaker, to Wayne's mansion while a board meeting was going on. He also made a public attack against Wayne but was later confronted by Batman, and Crank had to flee using his Cosmo Flyer. This led to Detective Cash being appointed as Wayne's personal bodyguard by Commissioner Gordon. A Zoom Pet, which is an animal-shaped machine that has sharp claws and spiked tails to attack enemies, was sent to Wayne Mansion to attack everyone in there. Batman then tried to follow one of the toys back to its creators, but it turned out to be a trap, and the building collapsed on him, with Crank toys in it. Cosmo kidnaps Bruce again in his spinning top machine, takes him to Cranktown, and intends to kill him with molten plastic, only to see that Bruce is missing. Batman enters the scene and, after a fight, finally captures Toymaker with his own toys, apprehending him. Even though he only appeared for one episode, he's considered a pretty memorable villain by the fans. Kabuki Twins. Appearing for the first time on television in 2004, the Batman animated series, the Kabuki Twins are two female henchmen that are under the employment of Penguin. Their appearance was quite unique, with a tall and sleek figure, pink spandex as their fighting outfit, and 3 sharp claws instead of their fingernails, which are also non-retractable. They're completely identical, with painted yellow eyes, red lips and cheeks, and black eyebrows on their white masks. While their origin hasn't been revealed, it's said that Penguin met them while he went on a trip to the Orient. Kabuki is a form of Japanese theater that combines music, dance and drama that is prevalent in Japan and has its origins there, so it's assumed that they might also be Japanese. Known only by their codenames Perry, short for Peregrine Falcon, and Gale, short for Nightingale, nobody knows their real names. The Kabuki Twins are highly proficient in martial arts, acrobatics, and wielding claws on their fingers. We never see the face behind the masks canonically, even though there have been occasions where their masks have slipped off. It might also be possible that they're a pair of humanoid robots because of the exceptional level of contortion and lack of speech. Gale and Perry are only known to grunt and sigh, but they've not spoken a single word throughout their appearance in the series. Their skills are first shown in the episode called Call of the Cobblepot. While diamonds and jewels all over the city have gone missing, Batman sets out to investigate the person responsible for this. It was Penguin who was behind all the robberies, more specifically, his lethal female henchmen, the Kabuki Twins. Alfred and Wayne must find them as soon as possible to avoid more thefts, and this means that Batman has to face Kabuki Twins, who were quite famous in Asia for their robbery skills and weapon wielding. The Kabuki Twins were often portrayed as formidable opponents for Batman, using their martial arts skills and weapons to try to defeat him. Despite their best efforts, however, they were ultimately no match for the Caped Crusader and his superior fighting skills. The Kabuki Twins appeared in just one of the Batman series in the beginning, but they've made their appearance known in other media, including video games and movies such as Lego Batman. They've become popular characters among fans of the Batman franchise, and their unique appearance and skills have made them memorable villains in the series.
Dripping with garlic.
Dracula. The Batman vs. Dracula was written by Duane Capizzi and was soon considered to be a fan favorite among many Bat fans. With superhuman strength, speed, agility, and reflexes, Dracula holds the power of a vampire who can turn any mortal human into a vampire by biting and drawing blood from their neck. He also may be immortal and is the king of the vampires. This Bat antagonist comes with a dark past of betrayal where Tanya, a family member of his, turns her back on her kind and joins Batman to do good deeds. They soon came up with a plan to eliminate all the vampires by tricking them into coming to the Batcave and blasting them with dynamite. The king of the Bloodsuckers is confronted by Gotham's protector in combat, and it doesn't take long for the Caped Crusader to defeat him. He had also drawn Batman's blood before he was finally killed by a tree trunk that was struck by some lightning. The incident resulted in Batman losing his humanity and having an utter thirst for blood. Oftentimes, Dracula overpowered many innocent people by turning them into vampires as well. He also turned countless women into vampire wives. By origin, he was old, and it's one of the reasons why he was considered to be the king of his kind in the first place. His foe with Batman is quite iconic due to both of them being creatures of the night. And no, he wasn't just loathed by the Vengeance, but also by the vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing. And that, friends, was the top 10 Bat villains of 2004's version of the Batman animated series. Though many claim that the 90s version had it better, we think that both the series focus on different elements of the show. The 90s version dwelled more on storytelling, while the action was the center of attention in the 2004 version. Iconic villains such as the Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, and Two-Face were not present in Batman's Rogues Gallery, but the series still featured legendary arch-enemies and their evil plans to destroy the lives of Gotham. As we come very close to the end of the video, tell us your top favorite villain of the series and what they did best to get the attention of the Caped Crusader. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone. Marvelous Shorts.
Really, I know nothing about it.
I think you do.